So hello everybody, good turnout. Hope what you hear today will help you in your careers in the future. Well, it has positive aspects in terms of it allows young filmmakers to be able to shoot movies or anything really in an area that they wouldn't be able to afford otherwise. That's the positive. That's the only positive I can find of shooting HD versus film. So are you asking me about my input when I work with directors?
Exactly.
In terms of whether they have a strong view or whether I have a strong view?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, well you have to firstly deal with Stanley Kubrick on the one hand, who had an opinion about everything, including how the tea was made. So, you know, he's a very special case. But for most other directors, yes, of course directors have a view and they have a right to have a view. Well, my view always is that things should look as natural as possible. Like the great painters of the through history worked before we had electricity. They worked with daylight coming through windows, and when it got dark, they worked with candlelight, and that's a very natural look and a very natural feel. I tend not to use lights on a film set. I tend to use them outside to bring light through the window, or I tend to use, if it's a contemporary piece, I'll use electricity as, you know, practical lights. If it's a period piece, I'll use candlelight and just supplement it occasionally. You're talking about the saturation of colour. I'm struggling to, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just done with colour filters on lights coming through windows, hard light, very hard light, coming through slats of Venetian blinds, with a very saturated blue filter on, or if you saw another colour like the orange, that was coming from the tungsten lights in the bedroom, which were dimmed. They were strong lights that were dimmed down. For them to go even more warmer, you know, down to, I don't know what, down to sort of 2000 Kelvin, which gives you that kind of warm feel. Obviously, the other things you do have available, and this is probably where you asked the post-production question, of course, in the final grade, but none of that stuff that you saw there had any post-production in it at all, because Eyes Wide Shut was done really before that process. It was around, but it's not a process that we used on that. So yes, you do have that ability, but I prefer not to do that. I prefer to try to, and here's the reason. If you're allowed to do that in post-production, invariably, if you're not around as the director of photography to grade that film, someone's going to take control of that and take it in a different direction. Whereas if you've done that, and they still can do that even when you've done this, but they have less opportunity of changing it without you being involved, basically, which is why I try to do it like that.